What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning into today's video. So today I want to get real. I want to get raw, no script, no plan. I just kind of want to tell it to you guys how it is. So if you guys are one of my few subscribers, chances are that you found me and my channel on one of my videos where I talk about how or why I got fired. Now, the truth is I struggle. The thing is, I struggle to hang on to just about any job that requires some level of professional skills. I mentioned that I got fired from my first 2 junior developer jobs. I came out with a follow-up video where I got a job working with a marketing agency, and to be honest, I'm still there, but that job is kind of rocky too. I do web design, I have my own small agency, and I struggle with that too. I talked about why I got fired from my other jobs, and there's a couple of reasons. The real reasons I gave were probably just excuses. The job was hard, I wasn't qualified. But the real reason that I got fired is just, it's so blatantly obvious. The reason that I got fired from my jobs is, I realize, is the exact same reason that I was so spontaneous to join a coding bootcamp in the first place. I know, and I can confidently say that I was the most ADHD student in my high school. I know this for a fact. And I know this for a fact because I was in all of the ADHD classes in high school and in junior high. Not to mention that I was homeschooled all during elementary school. So I didn't even know that I was ADHD until I was like 12 or 13. I literally just thought I was stupid all of my life. I did graduate high school, but barely. I have always been awful in school. I've done awful in classes. And so there really is no wonder I was so awful at a coding bootcamp. No wonder it was so hard for me. Now, hopefully that my videos about me getting fired and how hard going to a coding bootcamp was, hopefully that didn't discourage anyone from going to school or attempting to go through a coding bootcamp. Because chances are your experience is going to be so different than my experience. I know that there's like a million videos out there where people are trying to pump you up and they're telling you that ADHD is the superpower that you wish you had. And that's something that I agree and I disagree with. Some days, there have been times in my life where I've really been able to just hyper focus on something and have it work for me in my life and start benefiting me. And there's other times that I just feel like, I wouldn't wish ADHD upon my worst enemy. It sucks to live with. It really does. It sucks feeling like you're stupid all the time. It sucks trying to keep up with normal people every single day. Going through a coding bootcamp made things so much harder. Let's be real. Okay, programmers are smart. Programming is hard freaking work, and you really need to focus. It's really focus-driven work, and software developers are some of the smartest people out there. Why do you think they're in such high demand and they get paid so much money? Now, hold on. Before I get a little bit too ahead of myself, depending on how many people watch this video, I know that people, some of you are feeling tempted to jump down in the comments, tell me that your ADHD is way more severe than mine and you're some master programmer, okay? You figured it out. Instead of belittling me and anyone else in here that's struggling with ADHD and trying to learn how to program, give us some tips. Give me some advice, okay? How did you make it through school? How did your job turn out? Did you keep a job? What kind of job do you have, okay? These are things that I want to know and my viewers want to know. A lot of my viewers are junior developers. Now with this title, a lot of them probably have ADHD too. So if you have any tips, please leave a comment down below. Sorry, I kind of feel like that was a little bit of a rant. I want to get into some of the reasons why going to a coding bootcamp with ADHD was one of the best and one of the worst decisions I've ever made. I feel like I say that in every single one of my videos, but it's true. First off, learning to code, I'll never forget how hard that was initially. But I remember going into it, learning how to code was hard. A few weeks in, we started learning about SQL and database, and that was one of the first topics that really started to make sense to me. And I just remember once it started to make sense, I really started to focus on it for a few days, and just everything I could read, everything I could learn about SQL, I was just reading about. And I thought to myself, oh, like, this is cool, this is great, maybe this should be my niche, maybe I should become a DBA or something. And then the next week we start learning back end, and then all of that starts to click. I'm like, oh, this is cool, this is exciting, maybe I should become a back end developer. And then I realized that my websites look like garbage. So then I jump into CSS and I start learning how to build better looking websites. And then, get this, I realized that Nike and Tesla, their website looks way better than me, way better than mine, which is unacceptable for some weird, ridiculous, crazy reason. So, because their website's better than mine, I just go full-blown focus mode into web design. Learn everything I can about web design. Start learning how to make the best looking websites. After I learn after I learn the fundamentals of web design, then I start realizing how long it takes to just build all of these websites from scratch. And so I start looking for ways to make them, make faster websites. So that leads me to WordPress. Then I start focusing just everything on WordPress. Then that leads me to Webflow. And then I just consume everything Webflow. And that's basically where I am now. And now that I build all these websites, then I start to realize that my logo looks like trash, and so I spend all this time jumping into logo, consume everything logo design for a couple weeks, pretty much push web design off to the side. Once I take the logo, put it back in my website, then I'm like back in website mode, start looking at all of the content, realize that the content of my website isn't good, so then I start studying everything I can content, then I start learning how to optimize content. Literally, like, I know everything I'm learning is I should be learning all of these things. And a lot of you that are watching this are saying, that's good, that's great, keep learning all these things. But if you don't have ADHD, then you don't get it. With every new subject, it's like the one behind me is forgotten. So everything I studied the heck out of databases, and then once I got into backend, forgot the database. Once I started getting into CSS, forgot the backend. Once I started getting into logo design, then I just don't even care about websites anymore. Like, it's just, hold on. It's a struggle, okay? I don't even know where I'm going with this anymore. I really should have scripted more, yeah? Everything I've learned, my journey through web design, my hyper focus of different areas within the industry, it's a love-hate relationship. Some days, honestly, like, I feel like I'm so smart because I'm learning all these things, and then other days I realize that spreading myself too thin, learning all these things and becoming a master at none of them is probably doing me more harm than good. Honestly, like, at this point, I really have like no hopes to ever get a programming job again. I feel like I'm a website expert. Now, that's not necessarily like a coding, programming expert. Just consuming everything websites has taught me so much. And yet, I still can't get a job. I can get a job, but I can't keep a job. Back when I was interviewing for jobs, they all felt the same. The interview, they felt like they went well. The interviewers, they liked me. They thought I was a great person. I was fun to talk to, easy to get along with. My projects were decent. As a person, they really liked me. As an employee, not so much. The thing is, if you were to talk to me in person, you would probably know within minutes how severe my ADHD really is. All you really need to do is just like look at my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is a clear example of my ADHD. Okay, spontaneously creating a YouTube channel, I feel like, is a very ADHD thing to do. I woke up one morning and I was like, hey, I should create a YouTube channel. And I was like, well, what am I going to create a YouTube channel on? I realized that I listen to a lot more books than almost anyone else I know, so I figured I will jump into book reviews. made a couple videos like that. Then I jumped into cell phone technology for a little bit. And then I spontaneously signed up for a coding boot camp. And I was like, that'll be cool. Maybe I'll talk about that. And now, fast forward, here we are. I got 250,000 views, just over 1,000 subscribers, which is, you know, way more than I ever thought. So I really want to run with this channel, but I honestly feel like I had to clarify how ADHD I am. Because the chances are I will probably never get another programming job again in my life. You know, 1, I don't feel qualified. 2, I just feel like I know myself, I know my personality, and I feel like my attention is gonna wanna push me somewhere else. Being tied down to a job, it's just not something that I can do, really. As of this moment right now, like I said, I am still working at the marketing agency, and you know, things like that, you know, that's going fine. It's good, it's not great, it's not bad. I am building websites. I have my own little small web design agency. I've hired on a couple developers that are a little bit better than myself to help me with these projects. But then again, all of this stuff, it really is just part-time. It's just part-time stuff. You know, my YouTube channel is extra part-time. I'm only making like $100 a month from this. But get this, you know, some of you guys are probably wondering, how do I survive just working part-time? And I want to share with you guys a story. I hope this isn't like to brag. You know, we've been with each other long enough. Hopefully I can share this with you. This is just something that I'm genuinely ecstatic about, really. I'm an amateur investor, made some money on Bitcoin, sold out, somehow made a lot of money on Doge, somehow made money on GameStop, and then just most recently on AMC. So here I am making $100 a month from YouTube, basically living off of the sketchiest investments in the world. These investments are so awful that my grandpa would have died if he watched me make these trades. And yet, here I am. So I don't know. There it is. I feel like I just got really personal with hundreds, maybe even thousands of people on YouTube. Honestly, the bottom line is learning to code has been an awesome decision. If you're thinking about going, I say do it. You know, even if you have ADHD, if you don't have ADHD, do it. Stick with it, and I promise you it will be worth it. I don't even code anymore. But just I spend all day, every day doing something website related. And even though I can't, you know, I'm struggling to find ways to turn it into money, it really is just, you know, that's my own fault. Those are my own problems that I need to deal with. So hopefully this wasn't too personal for you guys. I appreciate you guys for watching this video. Again, if you guys have any thoughts, comments, questions, leave it down below. I know that I do not post on here very often. I know that I should, but I just don't. If you guys want to find ways to connect with me a little bit more, you want to know me on a little bit more personal level, I'll leave a couple links down below. You guys can feel free to follow me on there. So thank you all again for watching. I appreciate you. I'll catch you guys on the next one.